Today, we're going to talk about 5 of the most legendary musicians America ever produced. And we're going to talk about something nobody really wants to talk about: how they died, what really happened, and what they left behind. Stay with me, because some of these stories will genuinely shock you. Hello everyone, I am your friend Shahzaib, and I warmly welcome you to a new video on the Mr. Shahzaib YouTube channel. Let's start the video. At number 1 on this list is the legendary singer Elvis Presley. Because before Michael Jackson was the king of pop, there was a different king, Elvis Presley, a poor kid from Tupelo, Mississippi, who walked into a recording studio in 1953 just to record a song for his mother. He paid for dollars out of his own pocket. For dollars. That's it. That's where the story of rock and roll began. By the time he was 21, teenage girls were fainting at his concerts. Parents were furious, churches called him dangerous. And Elvis just kept singing. He sold over 1 billion records. He made 33 films. He was the most famous entertainer on the planet. But here's the part nobody talks about enough. By the 1970s, Elvis was a prisoner of his own fame. He couldn't leave his mansion. He couldn't go to a restaurant. He couldn't live a normal life. And slowly, quietly, the pain of that isolation started eating him alive. Turned to prescription medication. More and more of it. His personal doctor prescribed him thousands of pills over just a few years. Thousands. On August 16, 1977, his girlfriend found him on the bathroom floor of Graceland. He was 42 years old. The official cause was cardiac arrhythmia, but the real cause. The world took more from Elvis than it ever gave back. He gave us rock and roll, and in return, we trapped him. Now jump forward about 15 years. The 90s are here, and a new kind of music is taking over, grunge, and at the center of it all is a skinny kid from Aberdeen, Washington, named Kurt Cobain. A kid who grew up in a broken home, slept under bridges as a teenager, and poured every ounce of that pain into his guitar. When Nirvana released Smells Like Teen Spirit in 1991, it didn't just top the charts, it changed music forever. Kurt was speaking for an entire generation of kids who felt lost, misunderstood, and angry at a world that didn't make sense. But here's the heartbreaking irony: Kurt hated fame, genuinely hated it. The bigger Nirvana got, the more it destroyed him from the inside. He suffered from severe stomach pain for years that doctors couldn't diagnose. He struggled with addiction. He wrote in his journals about feeling like a fraud. On April 5, 1994, Kurt Cobain was found dead at his home in Seattle. He was 27 years old. He left behind a note, and in that note, he quoted Neil Young, "It's better to burn out than to fade away." The world heard that as poetry. But really it was a cry that nobody answered in time. Number 3. Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur was the voice of the streets in New York. Raised in poverty, Tupac moved from city to city as a child. His mother was a Black Panther activist who was pregnant with him while on trial. He literally entered the world surrounded by struggle. And yet this man was extraordinary. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a poet, a philosopher, an actor, a revolutionary. He wrote music about police brutality, about poverty, about black mothers raising children alone. He said things in his songs that sociologists spend careers trying to say. And the streets loved him for it. Streets also killed him. On September 7, 1996, Tupac attended the Mike Tyson fight in Las Vegas. After the fight, a car pulled up alongside his BMW and opened fire. 6 bullets. Tupac was hit 4 times. He survived that night. He was rushed to the hospital. And for 6 days, the world held its breath. On September 13, 1996, Tupac Shakur died. He was 25 years old. Nobody was ever convicted of the murder. Whitney Houston. Now let's talk about a voice, not just a good voice, not just a great voice, the voice. The one that music producers, vocal coaches, and fellow singers all agree was the greatest pure singing voice of the 20th century. Whitney Houston died. She grew up in Newark, New Jersey, singing in church. Her mother was a gospel singer. Her cousin was Dionne Warwick. Music was in her blood before she even knew what music was. When she burst onto the scene in 1985, she was something the world had never quite seen before. Beautiful, poised, and in possession of a voice that could make a room go completely silent. Her version of I Will Always Love You, originally a country song, became one of the best-selling singles in history. But behind that voice is a woman fighting battles the audience never saw: difficult marriage, addiction, years of personal chaos that slowly damaged the instrument that made her famous. On February 11, 2012, the night before the Grammy Awards, Whitney Houston was found unconscious in her hotel bathtub at the Beverly Hilton. The coroner's report said accidental drowning, with cocaine use and heart disease as contributing factors. She was 48 years old. The Grammys went on the next night, and every performer in that room knew they were singing in the shadow of someone they could never replace. Nobody could. Nobody can. Michael Jackson. And then there's Michael. Where do you even begin? A little boy from Gary, Indiana, who was performing on stage at age 5 years old, and already the most talented person in the room. By the time he was 10, he was a superstar. By the time he was 30, he was something beyond a superstar. He was a phenomenon. Thriller is still the best-selling album of all time. He invented the moonwalk. He broke color barriers on MTV. He sold out stadiums on every continent. For 3 decades, Michael Jackson wasn't just a musician, he was the center of gravity of the entire entertainment world. But Michael's life was also deeply painful. An abusive father who pushed him into fame before he could even process childhood. A face he slowly stopped recognizing as his own. Accusations that followed him for years. A loneliness so profound that his closest companions were a chimpanzee and a private amusement park he built to recreate the childhood he never had. In 2009, Michael was preparing for his comeback tour of This Is It, 50 shows in London. He was rehearsing every day. People who saw him said he looked incredible. On June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson's personal doctor administered a powerful anesthetic called propofol to help him sleep. It stopped his heart. He was 50 years old. His doctor was later convicted of involuntary manslaughter. And on the day Michael died, the internet crashed. Twitter went down. Google thought it was under attack because so many people searched his name at the same time. The world had never seen anything like Michael Jackson, and it never will again. 5 voices, 5 legends, 5 lives that burned so brightly and ended so suddenly. Elvis, who gave the world rock and roll and got loneliness in return. Kurt, who screamed for a generation and nobody screamed back for him. Tupac, who turned pain into poetry and was gone at 25. Whitney, whose voice was a gift from God that the world didn't protect. And Michael, who was simply unlike anything the human race had ever produced. They're all gone, but turn on any radio, anywhere in the world, right now, and you'll still find them. That's what a legend is. That's what forever sounds like. If you want to see which legend moved you the most, drop their name in the comments. Let's see who this generation still remembers. My channel is brand new, and I'm just getting started on this journey. Your support means a lot to me. If I make any mistakes along the way, I kindly ask for your understanding. Please subscribe, like, and share my content to help the channel grow. Thank you for being part of this journey.